everyone! This is the Filipino Nomadic Chef. Welcome back to my channel. Today, we're diving into a Bohol buffet comparison complete with price breakdown. Join me as I taste test and give you my honest review of these all-you-can-eat experiences. Stick around until the end to see which buffet takes the crown. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new upload. Let's get started!
Just to be clear, this review is purely my opinion based on my experience. I didn't get any freebies or compensation, just sharing my honest thoughts. Keep in mind, everyone's experience can differ, so what I experienced might not be the same for you depending on things like timing, service, or personal taste.
First up, Jpark Island Resort's breakfast. The ambience here is absolutely stunning. Think breathtaking ocean views and an elegant, luxurious setting. The egg station is a nice touch, allowing you to customize your order with whatever is available, which is definitely a perk. The eggs cook up well and have a good texture, but the flavor could use a little more attention. It's a bit bland as is, and a pinch more salt would really enhance the taste. While it's still good, it feels like it's missing that extra kick to make it stand out. Overall, it's solid, but not quite as flavorful as it could be. This buffet is the only place that offers ubi pandesal, which is a unique addition. The bread itself is soft, and I can definitely taste the ubi flavor, though it leans a bit towards the artificial side. There's also a nice ubi filling inside, which adds to the overall taste. While the ubi flavor could be more natural, the pandesal still tastes good, and I find myself enjoying it. It's a nice touch to the selection, and I definitely like it overall. I decided to try the blueberry Danish pastry, but it turned out to be more like a soft bread-like texture than the typical flaky Danish I was expecting. It's not as light and buttery as most Danishes, which was a bit of a letdown, but it still tastes pretty good. The pastry has a bit of chewiness to it when you bite in, which is different from what I was anticipating. Ideally, it would be more flaky and soft, but despite that, the flavor is still satisfying. It has a nice subtle sweetness to it. After trying this, I couldn't resist grabbing another ubi pandesal. It's just so good, it really stands out compared to the other options. Let's try the banh mi noodles. It's cooked well, tasty, and full of flavor. The vegetables still have a nice crunch to them, not soggy at all, which is great. It all comes together nicely. I also tried the mango juice, and it's just perfect. The sweetness is spot on and feels really fresh. I absolutely love it. Next, I tried the chorizo, also known as longanisa, a staple in Filipino breakfast that you'll almost always find on the table. It's definitely interesting. The chorizo seems to have more fat than meat, which give it a rich, almost melt-in-your-mouth texture. While that might be a bit unexpected, it blends really well with the overall flavor. It's soft with a savory sweetness that makes it quite enjoyable. It's also best eaten with rice, as a combination really brings out the flavor. Even with a higher fat content, it still tastes great and pairs perfectly with the rest of the meal. I got a garlic rice with guisado eggplant, in Tagalog, gisadong talong, and pork adobo. The adobo itself is pretty salty, and the garlic rice has a bit of saltiness too, so together, they're not the best combination. The saltiness from both dishes really stands out and can be overwhelming. I'd recommend pairing the adobo with plain rice instead. This would help balance out the flavors and tone down the saltiness. For me, it was a little too salty overall when eaten together. On the other hand, the gisadong talong was really good. The eggplant was cooked to perfection, soft, tender, and packed with flavor. It had a nice savory depth that complemented the meal without being too overpowering. I decided to make my own congee from the buffet selection to see how it would turn out. Unfortunately, it ended up a bit watery. There was definitely more liquid than rice, which was a little disappointing. I was expecting it to be thicker, with more of the glutinous rice texture that usually get in a well-made congee. While the congee is cooked well and the flavors are decent, the balance between the rice and liquid wasn't quite right for me. It's not terrible, but I don't think I'd go for it again. If I'm craving congee, I'll probably skip this one in the future and look for something with a bit more substance. The breakfast bread was a bit on the limited side. The pastries were a standout, fresh and delicious. However, some of the hot dishes were served lukewarm, and the overall quality of the food was a bit inconsistent across the selection. The service was mostly attentive, although we did have to flag staff down a couple of times for refills and condiments. Now let's take a look at Hennan Alona Beach Sea Breeze Cafe. We enjoyed their dinner buffet, which is originally priced at 1,599 pesos. But we were able to get it at lower price thanks to a promotion. The atmosphere here is a more laid-back and family-friendly, with service that's generally quick and friendly. At the promotional price, this is an excellent deal, considering the original price. I started with a seafood tuna pasta and overall, it was a pretty decent dish. The pasta itself was cooked perfectly, not too soft with just the right bite. The sauce had a tomato base, but it was a bit creamy, giving it a nice smooth texture that wasn't too overwhelming. I like that it wasn't too heavy on the cream, which can sometimes overpower the other flavors. The seafood in the dish, including squid and shrimp, was a nice addition, providing a good variety of textures. The squid was tender and the shrimp added a nice pop of flavor. However, while the dish was tasty, I felt like the sauce could have used a bit more depth or seasoning to really bring everything together. The seafood was fresh, but I think it could have been paired with a stronger, more flavorful sauce to elevate the whole experience. Still, it was a solid dish overall, just not as bold as I was hoping for. Next, I tried the seafood new birch. Apologies if I mispronounce it, but let me tell you, this dish was a pleasant surprise. The octopus was cooked perfectly, soft and tender, with no chewiness at all. The sauce was creamy and flavorful, well seasoned without being overpowering. The crab meat tasted fresh, like it was just cooked, not that kind that's been frozen for ages. Same goes for the clams. They were also fresh and perfectly cooked. What I really like about this dish is how all the seafood was soft, which shows it was cooked with attention to each ingredient's texture. It's a well-balanced dish and I definitely enjoyed it. I also sampled some of their desserts, and while they were tasty, I do wish they'd mixed up the menu a bit. Most of the options I saw were cakes and panna cotta, which were good, but I was hoping for a bit more variety. It will be nice to see different desserts options that offer a bit more variety in flavors and textures. Still, what they had was enjoyable. Hennan's dinner buffet has a strong focus on Filipino and Asian dishes, and most of the food was absolutely delicious. The seafood selection was particularly impressive, with plenty of fresh options. However, the dessert variety felt a bit limited, and during peak hours, the buffet area could get crowded, making it harder to navigate the food stations. So what's the final verdict? JPark's breakfast buffet at 699 pesos offers a luxurious setting with a limited selection. While it's a solid option, the inconsistency in food quality is something to consider. Hennan's dinner buffet, especially at the promotional price of 899 pesos, is a more casual and affordable choice, offering delicious Filipino and Asian cuisine, though the dessert selection could be better and the crowds during peak times can be a bit much. Both resorts offer unique dining experiences. Ultimately, your best choice will depend on your budget and preferences.